Hi, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Lex Kane's TV reviews. Today I'm doing a spoiler review on the Doctor Who episode 73 Yards. It started straight away, the episode, no title sequence, and straight into the story of the 73 Yards. So the opening scene is the TARDIS lands somewhere in Wales on a coastal line on the sea coast where this hill and stroke mountain place is. The Doctor and Ruby Sunday come out the TARDIS. Straight away, the Doctor yet again has a new costume. I'm thinking, why? Yet again? Why? And he just looked a bit like it was a kids' television series which I grew up as a kid in the early 1980s to late 80s called Portland Bill. The Adventures of Portland Bill. He looked like he was advertising for a role in that. I was just thinking, why? The Doctor's supposed to have a fixed costume. He's an alien. He's supposed to stand out with his costume, so people will know he's the Doctor. But now he's like a fashion model. I don't know why. Every week now he's gonna have a new costume apparently every week, and it looks like it's true because all four episodes with the Christmas special, which didn't feel like Christmas to me, he's wearing different costumes. So yes, there were too many references to Doctor Who again. The word spoilers, which is from River Song, that came up. I don't know why they did that, but they did. Strange. And they come to this area, somewhere in South Wales, on this coastline where the hill is and the sea, and down below there's like a village, and there's this little beach area. And the Doctor accidentally treads on the circle type decoration thing, and it snaps, and he goes, "Oops! Oh dear!" And something like "I'm sorry" or something like he says. And then Ruby's reading this old piece of paper with some writing on, like a poem, and then the camera pans right into Ruby Sunday, and she's reading the next part of the reading, and it mentions Mad Jack, I think it was called, and then the Doctor's gone. He's disappeared. And Ruby thinks he's just run into the TARDIS, so she runs to the TARDIS, and thinking he's gone back into the TARDIS, she's got a TARDIS key, as we remember from Space Babies. She can't get the door open. It's so unusual. The TARDIS is locked, and she can't open the door. And she's thinking, "What's going on?" And then something freaky happens. A figure appears. A strange old lady from the distance appears, and she's doing all these weird sign language and things. And then Ruby runs towards the situation where this strange old lady is. Then suddenly she appears by the corner of this tree, and she's thinking, what is going on? She's like confused, and then she decides to run down the hill because she thinks she's getting chased by this strange old lady. So she moves down the coastline and thinks she's lost her. And then, because this is a spoiler review, this is what's going to happen now. I'll tell you. She turns, and on the right hand side of the other side of the coastline mountain and hill, the strange old lady's there, and she can't fathom what's going on. And then she makes herself run down Ruby to get down from the mountain stroke hill and just get to some kind of place where she could be safe. So she runs down, and then she turns she turns her head back to see the TARDIS, where the TARDIS is. And lo and behold, the strange old lady standing by the TARDIS. And she's getting petrified now, Ruby. So she starts running. And then she turns her head back. And then she sees this hiker coming up. Explains she needs help because she reckons she's lost a friend, the doctor, and this strange old lady's appeared, who's very far away but keeps staring at her from the distance. And Ruby looks at this elderly lady who's a hiker. We know we've seen her before because she's been in a number of episodes now, since the 60th anniversary. And she says, have I seen you somewhere before? And she went, oh no, love, you haven't seen me before anywhere. No. And she said, could you do me a favour? Can you ask that strange old lady over there to leave me alone? And one other thing, could you ask where the doctor is? She says, oh, do you need the doctor? Like the joke. No, he's my friend's called the doctor. So she runs, speedily walks up to this strange old lady, starts talking to her, and then she freaks out, turns around, looks at Ruby Sunday, and runs the other direction, and she's gone. So Ruby's then petrified, so she goes down where this village is, where she thinks she's going to be safe for the night. So she runs, and it starts raining. So she goes to this village, and it's getting dark. She gets to this village, and there's a sign in Welsh of this place, this pub, and so she enters in. The locals are there, and maybe some visitors there. I don't know. But they all look dead strange and look at her like dead strange, like, who are you? What you doing here? Type of thing. But it felt very much like the 2008 episode Doctor Who Midnight and the 2007 episode where we see the Weeping Angels for the first time in Blink. It just felt like, well, not original idea, but like, no, like, wow, this is a new idea for Doctor Who, but no, they've just recycling ideas again and again and again. But very too much callbacks to me again in this episode. And again, like last week, skitting religious freedoms again, tacking it, making it like a joke, but still very not good really to do that. Because if you got a religious faith or anything like that and you like watching sci-fi, now they're having to stab at people religious freedoms, which you shouldn't do really, and I wasn't happy about that being in the episode again. And then Ruby asks this local man who lives in the village before he goes home for his hot meal at home. Can you speak to the old lady for me, please? The strange old lady outside, and could you ask about my friend the doctor, see if he's all right? He said, "Yeah, I can do that. No problem." And then Ruby looks by the window in the pub where it's pouring down rain, which was a good scene actually. I thought that was alright, that scene, pouring down rain from the window. And the man starts to talk to the strange old lady. And all of a sudden, the local man freaks out and runs off to the other direction. Right at the right hand side direction, he runs off that way and he's gone. And then they had these close-up shots of the locals, very much like the 2008 episode Midnight, very much like that again. I thought it was too similar the way they done the episode. So we get to early morning, and you guessed it, the rain stopped, but you guessed it as well. The strange old lady is still there, waiting. Don't know why she's after Ruby. He's like, she's waiting. She's still there. So, a couple of days go by, and she's having breakfast at the hotel, and then she decides to go back to the coastline, up the coastline, where the TARDIS is, and Ruby's sitting on a deck chair, waiting for the doctor to come out, and she realises the doctor's not coming out, and seems like he's gone. So a couple of long weeks go by, the way the scene is done. So she decides she has to leave now, this village, go on the train, and go home to see her adopted mother and adopted grandmother, to go back to where she lives. So Ruby's now back home. She's getting home on the train. She's nearly getting home on the train, and she turns her face to look at the locations of the place where the train's going. And you guessed it again. She sees the strange old lady again, now in a housing estate, and she's thinking, how did she get there? She's in South Wales, in that village. How did she find me? And she's like, she's dead again. And it's very strange how it's done. Like, but it's not an original idea in Doctor Who. It's been done before, and not no like, wow, this is a brand new thing we could do in Doctor Who. It's been done, I think, in Doctor Who so many times. Um, so she's back home, and she's settling in her home, and she gets back home to adopt a family. Everything's back to normal, and she's settling in. And Ruby's mum's got a plan. It says, "I'll keep your phone on her. You can hear what she's going to say." So Ruby says, "Be careful, mum." So Ruby's adopted mum goes over to where the strange old lady is, and Ruby can hear on the mobile phone what they're saying. Then all of a sudden, Ruby's adopted mum gets shocked of what she's heard from this. What you can see lip reading. Turns around, looks at Ruby, runs the left direction, and runs away. And you don't see it for like some time. Then moments later, Ruby's run. A few minutes later, Ruby's running to find where this strange old lady is, and a mum. She turns to the right. All of a sudden, the strange old lady's on the right hand side. And she's thinking, how did she get there so fast? And then Ruby turns to the left, sees a taxi, and sees her mum's face. Very strange mood type on her face. And then you don't see the mum. It feels like then it's been a number of weeks now. And then Ruby's ringing her adopted mum, leaving her messages, saying, "Mum, where are you? I'm concerned about you," and don't know what she said, this old lady said to you, but I'm concerned, where are you? And then Ruby one day's gone shopping for her adopted grandmother for food for them. She gets home, and you guessed it again, she puts a key in, she can't open the door. So she rings, and her adopted mother's at home and says, "Ruby, you gotta leave. You're not my daughter. You're adopted," and all this, and saying stuff like that, and really shocks Ruby. So we flash forward to, like, I think a couple of months later, and before we see a couple of months later, we see again the snow, and I'm going, I'm fed up with this snow thing. They're bombing the snow again. And I'm going, no, why? What's so important about the snow? Um, we know about the snow. We know that she was born Christmas Day. We've heard this before. So it's a few months. I think it's like a month or so later or something. All of a sudden, Kate Stewart appears in the episode. Just appears in the episode. We don't get explanation how Kate Stewart found Ruby. But UNIT are now involved and said, "Don't worry, we will help you in this situation, help you with your resources and that." Um, so she goes. She says, "Well, we're very trained to not if she's psychic or anything like that, or got psychic powers. We are trained, so we got a perfection filter." So the soldiers go up. All of a sudden, the strange old lady is controlling them straight away, and then Kate is in a trance, turns around and says, fall back. And she looks very angry at Ruby for some reason. And it's not Ruby's fault. And then, boom, UNIT are gone. Then we quickly go through years going by slowly of Ruby's life. She's getting older and older. Now she's in her 40s. And Ruby still sees the strange old lady now and again, looking outside the window and raising a glass to her and stuff like that. And she's got used to the idea of the strange old lady. And she sees in this restaurant political program about this fellow called Jack. And we find out this is Mad Jack. And a lot of explanations. I didn't put it in because it's very confused at the start why the Doctor Ming explains about this guy. But then we get to see him in this episode a bit more clear. He's only got a short role in the episode, but it's a very good role. So this man wants to be prime minister, wants to legalize weapons, so he's got control weapons, and very much like a Doctor Who type villain. This guy, this guy's really good. He would have been really good as the Doctor, mysterious and very alien the way he acts, even as a prime minister. He gets elected as prime minister, but we find out his nickname is Mad Jack, and he's Mad Jack. And so what happens then is the basics of the story is the strange old lady. She teams up with the strange old lady Ruby to say, "I know what we're gonna do. We've got to get rid of him, and this is it. This is how we're gonna win this." Turns out the rhyme of Mad Jack was him all along, and he hears something from the old lady, and he runs off, and he's gone mad, and that's hence the way name Mad Jack. He's gone mad, gives up being prime minister within less than a week in the job, and boom, he's gone. His party's gone, and he resigns. Then we flash forward 40 years later, and now Ruby's an old lady, and she comes out, and she's got a support worker helping her, a care worker and support worker, which transports her into this wheelchair from this vehicle because she can't walk far. And the TARDIS is still there, and it's growing a bit of sea moss on it and coastline stuff growing on it. And she said, "Hello, old friend," and "I miss my old friend, the Doctor." Basically, she says, and we still see this strange old lady in the background. She's got used to this person being around. She's like part of me type thing. So she goes home one night, back to a care home, and he says, to turn the lights off. These are like the clap ones. He says, "Oh, I know these lights. I haven't gone that far away with my mind." So she's asleep in the night, and gets awake, hears something, and the strange old lady's in the room, and she comes closer and closer. And before Ruby dies, she goes, "Oh, I know what this is." Boom. We see a close up of the strange old lady's hands. And we hear the old Ruby's voice saying, "Oh, this makes all sense now." And the sign language is there saying, "Don't follow me. Don't come near me. I'm your alternative future." We find out then all along this strange old lady is Ruby Sunday all along. We see the Doctor and Ruby Sunday from the start of the episode, but an alternative take of that episode. And she says, "How many times have you been to Wales?" And she said, "3 times, but this is my 3rd time now." And she sees the strange old lady, and the strange old lady says, "Don't." She rubs her head, like say, "Don't say anything to the Doctor." And she says, "Oh, nothing, nothing, nothing." And then that's where the episode ends. And all of a sudden, the old lady disappears, and that timeline is put back to normal. It was. I wasn't a big fan of this episode, but the positive things were. I'll tell you now what my positive things were in this episode. Um, it felt more like not a Doctor Who episode. It felt more like a brand new concept for a television pilot for a 6-part or 8-part or 10-part series of this storyline. Could have made it into its own little series, this, and not be Doctor Who ish episode, because it was a Doctor Who light episode, even though it was still Doctor Who. But very much like Midnight and Turn Left in some bits, and the Weeping Angels episode Blink, very much on those guidelines. The reason why I'm giving it 3 out of 10 is still not Doctor Who to me. Still not working with this actor who's playing the Doctor. He's very human, made the Doctor very humanised, human in his ways. But I think the reason why I give 3 out of 10 is the performances. Millie Gibson, very fantastic performance from her. Could have been her own television series if Doctor Who didn't get off the ground, and that could have been its own television series. 73 Yards could have been a TV series rather than an episode of Doctor Who. And the Welsh actress Dame Sana Phillips, if I'm saying that right. If I said it wrong, I'm sorry. Fantastic she was. It would have been fantastic in a number of years ago, maybe 10 years ago. She could have been a good Miss Marple. Fantastic Miss Marple. She's got that charisma. She's been in a lot of big movies. The cult classic, the original cult classic, which didn't make much money, but became a cult classic. The original June, she was in that, and she's fantastic in that. And I don't know, I can't pronounce the fella's name, but he's been in a lot of stuff. He was in the David Copperfield movie that was on lockdown. Peter Capelli was in that movie, and he was playing David Copperfield's school friend. Now this guy was fantastic in the role, even though he had a short role. Um, he would be fantastic as the Doctor, very alien-ish type Doctor he would be, and would make Doctor Who again, and he would have been better as the Doctor. Yeah, I think the ratings are not going to be good for this. Um, But that's the reason why I give it 3 out of 10. Just for the performances. This could have been a separate television series, this, rather than a Doctor Who episode. And next week's episode is not really ticking the boxes for me at all. It's not my. It doesn't. It looks very like. Well, I'll tell you when I see it, but it looks like something that we use every day for video chats and stuff. But very much in that side. Yeah, so that's my review on this. Um, please leave comments below. Subscribe to the channel. Take care. See you soon.